The East African tradition of the Maasai tribe is to greet one another with the words Kasirian Ngera, which is Swahili for, so how are the children? In that community, the well-being of their children is the highest priority. If you are interested in participating in thought-provoking conversations about the well-being of children and families, please tune in every Wednesday at 3 p.m. to Fresh Start Today on 860 AM WNOV. Together, we can save our children.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Fresh Start Today on WNOV The Voice. I am your host, Jermaine Reed, along with Sean Roby, and we have the best engineer in the city, Mr. Keon Malone. Good afternoon, Mr. Malone. And then we have our videographer, Mr. Tony Cash, in the studio with us today, along with our assistant, Mr. Danny. Good afternoon, gentlemen. All right, we have to cue people around here, you know. Okay, it's your turn, my turn, that type of thing. But our very, very special guest is Miss Vera Ford, who is from Job Corps. And so we are very happy to have you on the program this afternoon, Miss Ford. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and thank you so much for allowing me to come and be on your show.
Well, you know what? We thank you for gracing us with your presence. Before we get off into why you're here, we're going to just set some of the ground. Some of the preliminary things that we normally do, kind of talk about community announcements and, you know, the beautiful weather that's outside. Can you believe it is finally here? Yeah, what is it, about 80 degrees out there? Okay, we go talk. Okay, it's about 80 degrees outside. It's just a beautiful day. It's a lovely day.
Beautiful day.
Yes,
lovely
it
day.
is.
Got a few more, in fact, too.
I hope so, because, you know, this is Wisconsin. They have a history of reputation to switch up on you without any notice. So, yeah. So this is May. It's May the, I don't even know what today's date is.
25th.
The 5th, 25th. Where did May go? Wow. Well, this is National Asthma Month. It's National Stroke Month. It's National Mental Health Month. And the field in which we work in is National Foster Care Month.
Right.
So, you know, I'm sure you all have been able to engage in a lot of activities that's gone on over the course of the last couple of weeks that celebrate or highlight these particular emphasis. But this day in May, 1919, entrepreneur and philanthropist Madam C.J. Walker died. Wow. Now, you're smiling over there. What?
Because she was from Indianapolis, Indiana. That was my mother's home.
Oh, really? Really? Wow. Now, did you all know the Walkers?
My mother and my grandmother did.
Really? Wow. Look at that.
Talking about connections in a small world.
Yeah, wow. Well, yeah. So she passed on such a great legacy. In 1774, African slaves in Massachusetts Bay petitioned the government for freedom as their natural right. Who would have thought it wasn't their natural right? But some folks had a petition. 1975, Al Attos became the first African-American coach to win a professional championship in any sport. Attos' team, the Golden State Warriors, swept the Washington Bullets 4-0 to win the NBA Final. Another community event that's coming up, you know, it's really important. You know, folks, we listen to the program and, you know, and I'm fortunate to run into a lot of folks in different circles, and they say, you know what, we really like the show. We learn a lot. Right. It's very informative. I'd be wanting to call in, but I'd be so in tune to what you're talking about. We love the variety of guests and topics that you explore. All that is great, but you know what? We also have to put some action behind that. On Friday, May 27th, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., the Milwaukee Child Welfare Partnership Council will be meeting at the Division of Milwaukee Child Protective Services, which is located at 635 North 26th Street. That's 635 North 26th Street. The phone number is 414-343-5500. Now, some of you probably can stop in over your lunch hour if you can't stay for the entire time, but it's really, really important that there is a diverse group of folks who are in the room, and particularly folks who are the recipient of services. Some people call them consumers, what have you, but folks, family members and individuals in our community, zip codes like 53206, 53208, 10, 12, 16, 18, where we see some of the highest numbers of removal of children from those zip code areas. Listen, grandmothers, mothers, fathers, siblings, we need to be in the room and be a part of that conversation. So again, the Milwaukee Child Welfare Partnership Council is meeting on this Friday, May 27th from 12 p.m. until 2 p.m. Location is 635 North 26th Street. Phone number is 414-343-5500. And because that gathering is so important, you will hear me make this announcement repeatedly throughout this session. last announcement before we delve into our conversation and topic for the day is that if you are interested in becoming a loving, caring, committed, culturally responsive foster parent, please feel free to call Fresh Start Family Services. We are committed to this community and issues that impact children and families of color, but even children from other racial and ethnic communities as well. You can call 414-351-1100, extension 103. So again, we have the distinct honor and pleasure to be in the presence of Miss Vera Ford. And what I want Miss Ford to kind of talk about, is this program. Many of you have heard of it, Job Corps. Job Corps is the government's largest, the nation's largest education and vocational training program for, I hate using this term, at risk. Well, you say low income. Okay, low income. Because this term at risk, I hate the term at risk. I always like to use the term at promise. Youth who are at promise, because oftentimes they just need a Vera Ford in their life.
Yes.
They need a Jermaine Reed, a Sean Robin. They need somebody that's going to be that bridge. That's going to take them from where they are to
where they need to go.
Just a bridge.
Yes.
And we all have that opportunity. We have that capacity to be a bridge for some child that's at promise.
Yes.
Okay. So it's the largest educational vocational training program in the country with an annual budget in excess of $1.6 billion. Can I just get the $0.6 billion in my program? That's all I'm trying. I can't do much on $2, but $1.6 billion. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And so I'm sure there's a lot of programming that you all do under that umbrella. And what I would like to know, Ms. Vera, one is what your role is, particularly at Job Corps. What is the eligibility criteria for individuals who want to be a part of that community? We will talk about what is the difference between vocational training and technical training.
Mm-hmm.
What are the specific program or certifications that individuals can get if they become a part of your program, Job Corps Milwaukee, right?
Yes.
We will also talk about, the eligibility criteria and how long these programs last and what are some of the program outcomes, including, and this is a big piece, we're going to talk about the specific strategies that you all use to engage family members, parents and family members, that community of support in helping these young adults succeed. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. So can you talk about what is your role? What is your position over there at Job Corps?
Well, at the Milwaukee Job Corps Center, I'm the business community liaison. And what that means is I'm the one that gets out in the community that tries to make sure that the people are aware that the program exists.
Okay.
What we've heard for years is that Job Corps is the best kept secret.
Okay.
Many people do not know that it even exists. So I do a lot of presentations at schools, at churches, resource fairs, job fairs.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of volunteer work in the community because we want the people to understand Job Corps is not just the giving.
Okay.
They're going to give back.
Okay.
That's what the promise is.
Okay.
That they will be trained so well that they'll work and they'll give back. So we do a lot of volunteer work. Our students do work at the Salvation Army, Feed the Children. We've cleaned up 60th Street from Good Hope to I want to say Mill Road.
Okay.
That whole strip, we've cleaned it. We do that annually, and so it's a program in which my job is to make sure that people know about it, that young people know about it, that they know how to get into the program, and that they understand what the program can do for them.
Okay, so you said Job Corps is the best kept secret in town. Where is this secret kept at? Where's the house?
I really don't know, and the reason I can say I really don't know because certainly I knew about Job Corps. It's celebrating last year its 50th anniversary.
Okay.
Wow. This year it's its 51st. Well, I'm a former Job Corps student 50 years ago. I was one of the first females to go into Job Corps from Milwaukee.
Oh, from Milwaukee.
From Milwaukee.
Okay. So it's co-ed. I mean,
it is, but it wasn't. It wasn't initially. First of all, it was meant to be an all-male program.
Okay.
And there was a congresswoman in Kansas who said, I'll filibuster unless you include women. And thank God for her because I got in.
And you got in 50 years ago. So you are a living testimony that the program works.
That the program works.
All right. If folks want to join this conversation, they can call 414-444-5250. You're in Fresh Start's classroom, and we have an instructor here today, Ms. Vera Ford, and she's going to educate us about the Job Corps program, the best kept secret in town. We're going to go to break in a few minutes, but Ms. Vera, I want to know, you talk about, Job Corps, you all are located here physically. Is the address able to receive the address?
Oh,
Where's
yes.
it located?
Most certainly. 6665 North 60th Street.
Wait a minute, 66, that's
65.
666. Wait a minute, y'all couldn't come up with a different address, 666? Why?
Didn't have anything to do with the addressing.
Okay, so you're at 6665 North 60th Street, right here in Milwaukee, the best kept secret,
Yes.
Job Corps. And you have, how many programs do you offer there at Job Corps?
We have 6 trades.
Six trades, okay,
trades
6
that
trades.
we offer, but you can get your driver's license, you can get your high school, GED,
Okay.
and all of that is inclusive, because just to get a high school with no trade or a trade with no high school and not be able to get your driver's license, because many of our trades are the hard trades.
Okay.
you
When you say
need
the
a
hard
car.
trade, what do you mean?
I mean construction trades,
Okay.
welding,
construction.
material handling,
Okay.
manufacturing, and cement masonry.
Okay, got you.
And our other 2 trades are in the health field,
Which are?
certified nursing assistant and medical office support.
Okay, so nationally, Job Corps serves about 60,000 young people, ranging from what age to what age?
From 16 to 24, not yet 25.
Not yet 25.
25.
And then I'm going to ask you why that particular population in a minute, but 60,000 are served on an annual basis?
Yes.
How many are served locally?
And we just did a count. This center's been open since 2010, and we have serviced 1,900 and some students in that 5-year period of being open.
Now, Job Corps has 125 centers nationwide with 4 satellites. How many centers are located in the state of Wisconsin?
Only 2.
Only 2. Okay.
The one in Milwaukee and one in Leona, Wisconsin. It's in the Forest Service. It's ran by the U.S. Forest Service.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have on the line Ken. Do you have a brief question or comment as it relates to this topic on Job Corps?
Yes, I was trying to get the ladies information. I do a lot of outreach in the community, and what our organization do is we don't offer a lot of services, but if we can connect the dots, then we figure we done our job. So I need some contact information so I can get with her at a later date. So when we're out in the street and we're meeting kids and young adults, we can offer them something, even if it's just connecting them with that organization.
Yes, I can be reached by telephone at area code 414-616 5703.
5703.
Yes, and that's my direct line to my office.
And I didn't catch your name. I just tuned in.
It's Vera Ford, like the car. I always say
Okay,
faster
Vera
than a Mustang and getting old like the T model.
All right. Thank you so much. Y'all have a blessed day.
All right, Ken, you have a great day. Now, there's 125 centers nationwide. 97 of them are privately owned, and the other 28 are actually ran by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Now, why agriculture? I'm not making the connection.
Well,
50
because
years-
the format of Job Corps initially was set up like the old CCC camps.
Well, now let me
don't know if you understand
disclose.
what
I'm
those were.
42 years old. I don't
Okay.
know what CCC.
Okay. If they were civilian conservation centers.
Okay.
And these were the centers that they formed in doing road work and forestry work.
Okay.
To give jobs back during the Depression.
Got you.
Okay. They called them the CCC camps.
The CCC camp. Okay.
Right.
So you're operating out of 6665 North 60th Street.
Yes.
6665 North 60th Street.
Yes.
And you all are privately, or are you ran by the federal government?
No, we're ran by a private contractor, Minac Inc.
Minac Inc., okay.
They're located in Jackson, Mississippi, and they're one of the few African-American contractors operating centers.
So how many
The president is
African-American
African-American.
Really?
Mr. B.T. Jones.
Excellent. Maybe one day we'll be able to talk to Mr. B.T. Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what about the one that's in the other part of Wisconsin? Is that ran by the U.S. Department
That's
of Labor?
ran by the Forest Service.
Okay. Is there a difference in terms of how a program is ran, whether it's private or ran by the federal government?
We typically have the same standards. The thing about the centers ran by the Forest Service. They're more in the wilderness. The center in Blackwell Job Corps Center up north is in the wilderness.
In the middle of
in the middle of nothing. I don't want to say it like that, but again, some of that is needed because many of the things that made President Johnson think that Job Corps would be a good program was to get you away from your environment that was negatively impacting your growth.
And I think with that, and one of the powerful things about Job Corps is that children, and I know you may have gotten into this, but youth rather, 18 and over, they have that opportunity where they can go to Job Corps in different states.
Yes.
So if you got a lot of things going on locally, you can go to another facility nationally.
Yes, it's the input is regional.
Okay.
So in this region, we have Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and one other, Indiana.
Okay. So if I don't know a lot about Job Corps, and that's why I call this a classroom. And so you're here to educate not just me, but those folks who are listening. You talked about ages 16 to 18 that those individuals can qualify.
16 to 24.
Sorry, 16 to 24. Why that age group?
It was the age group, I think, initially when Job Corps first started that was struggling with jobs, with education, with the training to move forward. And that was pinpointed as that age group. It is the group that I think many of you will see that are struggling with issues within the home and learning and feeling who they are as adults and not knowing quite where they're going and that kind of thing. So they kind of zeroed in on that age bracket.
So 16 to 24, is there a cost to this program? Now, with you receiving $1.6 billion, I assume if there's any cost, it'll be minimal.
Job Corps is totally free. Free in money, not free in the time and what the young people have to put in to get through it.
So you have to invest.
And that's
got to
key.
invest
I think that's so important.
Got to invest self into it. But there is no cost to Job Corps. You can stay in the program up to 2 years. It's self-paced.
Now, that's interesting because, Ms. Ford, there are a lot of technical and vocational programs in Wisconsin, across the country. Whether you're talking about a technical program at MATC or some of these other colleges or technical schools, there's a fee that's associated with it. But for Job Corps, you're saying Job Corps is absolutely free. What is the eligibility criteria?
The eligibility one is age.
Okay.
The other is income, low income.
So anybody can go to Job Corps?
Anybody can go to Job Corps, 16 to 24. There can be no felony convictions, though, because we are a zero-tolerance program.
Which means what?
No drugs, no alcohol, no
levels.
violence.
Okay. Because there's infraction levels. You have 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
But it's zero tolerance. You all implemented that back in 1995, which was really great.
Yes.
And so you all are really strict about
We're
that.
very strict on that at all. It has to be safe. If people can't learn, if the young people can't learn in a safe environment, they're not going to learn.
Well, that's what we're talking about in public school settings,
Yes.
Elementary, middle school, environments have to be safe and secure.
Yes.
So, and I was reading the Inspector General's report, and they made that particular point right there about how important safety and security is that in order to promote positive outcomes. We're going to go to break on Fresh Start today, and we'll be back with Ms. Vera Ford to talk about the Job Corps program. All right.
This is Jermaine reporting from Fresh Start's WBCM, Wisconsin Black Children Matter. Did you know that the number of black children in Milwaukee's foster care community continues to rise? According to the Department of Children and Families' most recent annual report, black children made up 68.2% of Milwaukee's foster kids. Many of these children are not only removed from their family and siblings, but are placed in families and communities that do not reflect or honor their race, culture, or heritage. Fresh Start is an agency that is committed to serving and advocating for black children. In order to meet the needs of this growing population, we need more black families in the Milwaukee area that love and celebrate black children. To become a licensed, culturally responsive foster parent with Fresh Start, you must be 21 years old, married or single with a stable income, clear several criminal background checks, and complete 36 hours of pre-licensing training. To learn more about other qualifications, call 414-351-1100. That's 414-351-1100. Again, this is Jermaine reporting from Fresh Start, WBCM, Wisconsin Black Children Matter.
All right, it's 3:29 in the afternoon, and you're listening to Fresh Start today on WNOV 860 AM, The Voice, and our in-class instructor today is Ms. Vera Ford from the Milwaukee Job Corps Center, and she is the business community liaison. So you've kind of talked about the eligibility criteria for Job Corps, which was you had to be between the ages of 16 and 24, low income, no felonies. Mm-hmm. Now, is Job Corps a voluntary based program?
It mostly is. If you're 18 and above, you can get yourself into Job Corps without anybody doing it for you.
Okay. Right.
If you're a minor, you need parental or guardian consent.
Okay. So the population of young adults that you're serving between the ages of 16 and 24, are these individuals who are court ordered?
No, they're not. What we're finding is many of the young people coming into Job Corps, the regular school system didn't work for them for whatever reasons those were.
Okay.
When the center first opened up in 2010, half of the students coming in already had their high school diplomas.
Okay.
That has decreased some now, but it was at the beginning, so no, it's just not forced.
So forgive me if you've already said this, but as relates to a high school diploma or HSED or GED, are individuals who are part of the Job Corps community able to get an HSED or a high school diploma or GED? What does that look like?
They are. At our center, we have a Milwaukee charter high school called Seeds of Health.
Okay.
So the young people that go into that program, which are the younger ones, because that's the law here in Wisconsin, they actually get a Milwaukee Public School diploma.
Okay.
Then our other high school for the older youth is on a computerized.
Okay. Now, for folks who are listening to this program today, we're talking about Milwaukee Job Corps and how that program is serving a number of young adults in our community. If you'd like to join this conversation, you can call 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Time goes really quickly on the program, so if you'd like to talk with our instructor today, Ms. Vera Ford, please give us a call. So it's a voluntary-based program. The legal guardian for a child under the age of 18 has to place the child or agree to the child being in the program.
That's correct.
What does parental engagement look like? What is it that your company is doing to ensure that not just parental engagement, but also family support in order for these young adults to succeed in your program?
Okay. One of the things is we make sure that we stay in contact with the parents, particularly of the minors.
Okay.
If we're having difficulties, if they're having some problems, we're in contact with the parents. We also have a small, what we call non-residential slot for young people from this area who have child care responsibilities but cannot
that's
live
powerful.
in a residential setting.
Because yours is a residential
We're
setting.
residential.
You have 237 slots.
That's
okay.
correct.
Okay.
And they actually live right at the center.
And they live right at the center. And how is that working?
We have two dorms. It's not
I was wondering,
integrated.
how do you keep
separated.
that?
It's not
How do you
integrated.
segregate
We
those
have a
populations?
male dorm and we have a female
But
dorm.
not only just by gender, but how do you keep the 16-year-old away from the 23-year-old?
We're in the process of teaching independent living, and you got to learn to deal with old, young,
That's
in
right.
between, and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
We do not segregate based on age. Does cause us to be more informative and more working with the young people, because you gotta learn to get along with each other, not only just by age but by ethnicity, by all of that.
Absolutely.
We don't segregate.
Okay, you don't segregate.
Independent living program.
And I think when you add to that, in the particular campus on North 60th Street, it's a beautiful campus, and having the opportunity to go there and see the layout and how that process works. And I think you mentioned earlier about families have to be invested, particularly
Yes.
that individual, so they have to reach out to Job Corps first, and then you'll get that packet or whatnot.
Exactly.
Then the family has to go to a meeting and get the layout and whatnot of what is expected, what needs to be done, and all that. Then that young person still has to take care of their own individual responsibilities to show that they're interested. Because living on a campus is a totally different entity than being able to go back and forth to your family's home.
Yeah, I agree. That experience could be totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great that you all are teaching independent living
Yes.
skills. It's great that folks can
Absolutely.
acquire their, is it a HSED or they're acquiring a diploma?
They're getting a diploma
Okay, they can get their diploma there.
from the charter school.
Okay, so how long is the program? You talked about you have these different trades that you teach, and we want to talk about the difference between what vocational and technical? You know, what is a vocational?
Our program is more vocational.
Okay.
Again, with the high school and the other components. But it is a self-paced program. The students are not competing with each other. They're only competing with themselves. They move at their own pace. The most you can stay in the program is 2 years.
The longest you stay is 2 years.
If you've done well and you're interested in the advanced training, you can stay in for one more year, getting all these same benefits, and go to college. Right now we have, I think, 5 students at MATC that's in college. We have a partnership with MATC and with Bryan and Stratton.
Oh, great.
And
that's really
we're
good.
looking at increasing those partnerships. That's some of the other things that my role is responsible for, trying to get those partnerships.
Well,
So
that's
those
interest-
partnerships, I'm sorry, those partnerships that you talk about, those are actual college credits?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So I'm wondering, you talk about this collaboration and partnership with entities like not UWM, but with Bryan Stratton and with MATC. What about with other businesses? You know, because of your teaching career and, you know, vocational and trades, you know, what are some of the local business partnerships? And is there a need to partner with more businesses? in the community?
Most certainly, because part of the program is, again, that's part of my job, is to get employers partners as well.
Absolutely.
We have another employer developer, but it's also on me. One of the things that we do in our program is when a young people is between 50 to 80% complete in their trade, they do what we call work-based learning, what you might infer as internship.
Like an internship, yeah.
And we have to have the employers where they can get that hands-on, because what you learn in a classroom is going to be different than what you're going to
That's
have to
right.
deal with on a real work setting. And so we have the employers that work with us for giving the young people the chance to have the hands-on. What that also does, though, it gives that employer a chance to kind of see what that young
It's like a
person is
pre-screening and whether or
You
not we
got it.
wanna
And if they're
commit.
good, they're hiring them. We've got students hired at Titan.
Okay. Wow.
We've got Cable Masters. We've got Bush Precision. We've got Aurora St. Luke's.
Okay.
We've got all kinds
that's
of, because
powerful.
we try to get the employers that fit the trade areas that we teach.
So
you
if there's
know-
a local business who is interested in partnering with Job Corps Milwaukee, they can contact you, and then you can direct them to the right person. They can call 414-616-5703.
One thing you mentioned earlier are those soft skills that you
Yes.
you help young people or youth learn, and that's so critical because a lot of people don't understand the appropriate dress and whatnot. And I can remember specifically after attending one of those meetings, one of the key things they said, but it's a cultural thing now, is tattoos. And if you have a lot of tattoos and they considered offensive, you'll have to have your tattoos covered with long sleeve shirts
Yes.
and collars and whatnot. But then you all also, it's a uniform policy.
By trade, we have uniforms by trade. We want them to get used to that.
Okay.
We don't allow no sagging pants.
Okay.
We're watching. And soft skills, let me just say this. Every employer that we've ever worked with has said, I can teach anybody to do my job.
That's
what I
right.
can't teach them is to show up on time, stay off that cell phone, pull them pants up,
And that's-
dress appropriately, and respect authority.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, according to the U.S. Department of Education, technical schools teach the theory and science behind an occupation, while vocational schools take a more hands-on approach to teaching the skills needed to do the job successfully. And these programs, like you mentioned, you can't stay in the program more than 2 years, and so they're very. The term of the program is very short because you want to get folk right into the job market,
Yes.
whatever the need of the market is right now. You
Yes.
want to get these folks. They're not doing a whole lot of theory and going beneath.
No.
Yeah,
It's
a
entry
broad-
level.
It's entry level.
It's the start.
Okay.
It's giving them that start.
It's giving that boost, that springboard. Okay,
Exactly.
so that is great. So when do you all have your graduation? Do you all just have a graduation?
We have a graduation twice a year. We have one coming up August 19th. I'd love to have all of you come as my guests.
Sounds great.
If you've never been to a Job Corps graduation, it will trip you out because we go all out. We
And that's
we
important.
truly go
It's
all
very
out.
important. That's
we
true.
need
It's
them
very
to
important.
know that reaching that point is as important to them. It's important to us.
That's right.
Well, now let me ask you this because, we work with the child welfare community, a number of foster children who just by talking with you seem like they were qualified to be students in the Milwaukee Job Corps program. What has the relationship been like between your business or your organization and local child welfare?
It hasn't been great, and that's part of why I kind of hooked on to you for your conference, because it's a natural fit for young people that are aging out of foster care. Job Corps is residential. We've got everything there. There's no cost for it.
Right. So you think it's just a natural fit?
It's a natural fit.
Okay. Now,
I love that statement, excuse me, because so many kids in foster care, once they emancipate or age out of the system, a lot of the numbers show that they end up homeless.
Mental health institution.
Hospital, jail. So
and going from pillar to post, So Job Corps is not just a place for you to find residency. So you have a roof over your head, but it's actually moving toward a goal.
True independence.
So it really, I think, would be great if someone from the Division of Milwaukee Child Protective Services would reach out to Vera at Milwaukee Job Corps Center at 414-616-5703 and really kind of talk about that whole independence living and make sure that we're giving youth who are in the system's care that we know are about to age out within the next year. Here are some options for you, Milwaukee Job Corps. So that's great. We have Mary on the line. Mary, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi. I was calling in. I just wanted to, find out from you guys about. I'm a case manager, and I work with young girls that's high risk. And I just wanted to know how safe it is if they were to join the Job Corps. How safe would it be for them?
Our center is extremely safe. As a matter of fact, we've got some staff who are kind of cringing at what we have to do to get on center. We're a gated community. We're a gated community. We have security staff at the Welcome Center. You can't get in without going through them.
Right.
Okay.
And I feel as safe can be. And in a city, as we know what's happening here, that fence is there not to keep our students in, but to keep them protected.
Okay.
And so they are safe. It's funny, too. We just had twice a year, Job Corps all across the country has the students do a survey on safety.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it co-ed?
Co-ed.
Yes, it is co-ed. And we just scored a 99.8 on our safety survey, and we scored higher than the national at the Milwaukee Job Corps Center. And I can show you the stats.
Because that's important. People want to know that their children are safe. If you're a student there, you want to feel safe.
Exactly.
And so you all scored
99.8.
Oh, well, you couldn't did much better.
That's what I said.
So that's great. Thanks for tuning in, Mary.
Thank you.
So let's go back to this piece about foster care and foster children. Have you had foster children or foster young adults who are in foster care? Have you had them in your program? What does that admission process look like? Because I'm concerned because if legal guardian, if parents' children are removed, many of them still are the legal guardians for that child, but I'm assuming they will have to be on board in signing the child up to receive services or to enter your program.
Yes, and if they've been taken away from the family and they're in the system, the counselors, the case managers sign them in.
The case managers sign them in. So then you all will act as the parent for the child?
The case manager still does. They still have some kind of oversight over the young person.
Okay, about services. Okay, sounds great. And so if folks want to tour your facility, if they're, say I have a 16-year-old son, 17-year-old daughter, and I'm looking for options, how do they go about, setting up a visit, a tour? I mean, what?
Okay. Well, there are two ways. One is the weekly orientations, which includes a tour, which is done by our admissions contractor. And then the other way is through me. I do all the personal tours on center myself. And so all they'd have to do is just contact me, and we'd set up a time that I could take them on a tour of the center.
Okay.
And, I think when we're talking about, and I know you mentioned off air that you worked at a variety of the different residential centers, but this particular one, and again, seeing it myself, it's a beautiful state-of-the-art building. One thing a lot of people don't know about Job Corps is depending on the actual facility you're at, it's actually more like a college campus because you have basketball teams, they have different activities that they allow the attendees to be involved in. So you have so many opportunities. And for a lot of youth, this could be a segue, as you mentioned before, to an MATC or even a larger institution.
Yes, and they do. If I might add one other thing, let me give you a sample of one person that went through Job Corps. I'm sure you'll probably know him. His name is Mr. George Foreman, Job Corps graduate.
Wow.
Went to Job Corps, was so mean and evil that a counselor said, you ought to do something about that. He took up boxing, and look what it did for him.
Right.
George Foreman is a Job Corps
Y'all
graduate.
teach boxing in
We don't, but they did. I guess at that time, we don't teach it, but we do have the bags.
Okay.
But we watch about liability.
What
that
about
safety.
therapy? I mean, can young people, young adults who come from a varied background, there's a lot of issues and things they had to deal with. What does mental health service or behavioral health services look like?
We have a mental health consultant. We have a physician. We have a dentist. We
Oh,
have
you
it
just-
all. We have it
one
all.
stop
I'm
shop,
saying.
yeah.
It's like a contained, I'm serious.
Absolutely. It's a community.
in and of itself.
You're talking
Okay.
about housing, meals,
they
medical
get paid
care.
every 2 weeks, a little
stipends.
stipend. I didn't mention that.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Can I get a job going?
But then you have weekend passes as well.
Okay. So
Yeah.
weekend passes to leave the facility to come in. Okay. I'll go into the community and come back. Okay. So this is really sounding great. We're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and close out the last segment with our guest instructor for the day, Ms. Vera Ford from Milwaukee Job Corps.
Do you know what Nelson Mandela, Andrew Jackson, Malcolm X, and Steve Jobs have in common? Each of these individuals were world leaders who were once in foster care. We often hear about the road from foster care to prison, but did you know there's another road from foster care to a world stage? Fresh Start Family Services is looking for adults to become licensed foster parents. Every child needs a caring adult in their lives. Wouldn't it be great if you could foster or adopt the next world leader? For more information on how you can become licensed with Fresh Start, please call 414-351-1100. That is 351-1100.
Good afternoon. It's 3:48 in the afternoon, and you're listening to Fresh Start today on WNOV 860 AM The Voice. And we've been talking with Miss Vera Ford, who is the business community liaison at the Milwaukee Job Corps Center, located at 6665 North 60th Street. Just a little bit about the program that they offer there at Milwaukee Job Corps, and how so many of our youth in this community could benefit, youth and young adults could benefit from the services that are offered there. And so, Miss Vera is a living testimony, along with George Foreman, that Milwaukee Job Corps works if you want it to work for you.
That's right.
Like, ain't no stopping Miss Vera. Miss
That's
Vera,
right.
you from Hillside.
Hillside.
You grew up in
Projects.
Hillside.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you entered Job Corps. And what are some of the opportunities? And that's the key word, the opportunities that being a part of the Job Corps community has afforded you that could potentially be extended to young people who take full advantage of what it is that your program offers.
I've taken many turns, and I've been on the Today Show with then the Secretary of Labor, Elizabeth Dole, that was doing Job Corps' 25th anniversary. I've been at the White House and spoken with presidents, both Reagan.
Oh, from Hillside to the White House.
From Hillside to the White House.
Watch out.
And I've probably traveled in my years of working with Job Corps to probably 99 of the 124 Job Corps centers. So I've traveled all over the country.
And so
with
Job Corps has been a springboard where you completed that program and you went on to further your education
Yes.
and got a bachelor's and then a master's, and you're just trying to really engage this community and keep us informed about what opportunities are available. And like you said, Job Corps appears to be one of the best kept secrets around town, but we want to get the secret out there.
Yes, we
Absolutely.
do.
Right. And so, that's great. We're so pleased to have you here in the studio with us again today. And if folks want to call, we have about 6 or 7 more minutes on air. If you have a particular question about Job Corps, you can give us a call at 414-444-5250. What are some of your specific program outcomes for children?
I guess really some of the outcomes are that at our center anyway, at least 80% of our students go on to either go into the military, get employment, or higher education. And that's a great statistic, I think.
Absolutely.
I also can say that the students that come into the program that are struggling, what I find is a miracle outcome is that we see the growth. We see them change. We see them taking their futures serious.
Okay.
They're wanting to get involved in volunteerism, and I tell the young people, many adults think young people don't care, that everything is me, and right now, they'd be surprised. Our young people care, and they want to get involved, and they want to grow.
You know, in every program, you're always going to have a population, no matter how great the program is. In every program, sometimes people don't understand the full value of the program, and sometimes they disconnect or they disengage. They leave the program. Do you see a lot of that happens? And if are there signs that maybe someone is struggling with, adjusting to the program, and what do you all do to try to keep them?
One of the things that every student that comes into the program is assigned to a counselor. So they have a counselor before they get their trade choice, and then once they make a trade choice, they get a career counselor. So there's always someone watching, and there are those young people that aren't quite yet ready for a residential campus-like living. Right. So they do leave the program. If they've not had any behavioral problems, they can come back and re-enlist at times after a year.
After a year, okay.
After a year. The only time you really couldn't come back into the program if you've been terminated because of a violence issue.
Okay. Which is understandable, yeah.
That's the only...
That's what you call it, level 1?
Level 1.
Level 1, just try to remember some of the things. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a great opportunity for our young people. Now, there are folks who listen to this program said, no, we should be getting children prepared to go to the university of wherever. We should be getting young folks prepared to go to XYZ college. And so what do you say to those folks who say, well, we are not launching children in the right direction, right path by having them go to, a Job Corps program?
Everybody's not meant for college.
Okay.
That's a known fact.
Okay.
College is not meant for everybody.
That's right.
And somebody has to do those other kinds of jobs, or else this country's going to go to heck in a handbasket. Because take Wisconsin. We're a manufacturing town. That's okay, college and engineering part, but you got to run those machines. You got to know how to do the other things. And so I think people need to understand, for those that college is what they want, then we need to be making sure that college is what they get. For those who are not yet ready for it, we still need to give them the skills that they'll be able to be independent and work and self-sufficient.
Even along those lines, some folks who have gone to college and didn't finish, they still ultimately become millionaires.
Yeah.
I mean, like you
but
said.
But is the goal to become a millionaire? Goal is to become what? A self-sufficient person, someone who gives back to the community.
Absolutely.
Yes. So a millionaire, not everybody's going to be a George Foreman.
No.
Right.
That goes through the program. Not everybody's going to attain the level of success that Vera Ford has.
Right.
But on a very basic level, everybody can be a contributing member to society.
Most certainly.
Right.
Most certainly.
And you're teaching independent living so that we aren't a burden on society, but
somebody.
that we're a contributor versus a consumer.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking at your mission.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So I think I got it. So again, we're talking with Vera Ford, the business community liaison for the Milwaukee Job Corps Center. She can be reached at 414-616-5703, 414-617-5703. This is a very encouraging conversation. When you all started in Milwaukee in 2010, there was then and now a lot that's going on with youth. And you talked about the center that's up in Wisconsin is in the Forestry area. There's a lot that's, to remove kids from whatever is going on in their community.
Yes.
Well, these young folks who go out on 60th in, Mill Road.
Yeah.
They're still part of the community. They're still connected to the community.
Yes.
What do you all do to help them resist the temptation of getting involved in all that other negative stuff that's going on the outside of those gates?
We do a lot of programming on positivity. And every Friday, because that's when the young people are going to take those weekend passes, we do what we call a Good Choices meeting in our gym. All the staff, all the students. We're constantly reminding them, be cautious, be safe, watch what you're doing. Know that if you get in trouble, here you got our phone number. Call us. We will come get them. We've had students that maybe got themselves in because they're fairly new in an area that they're not real sure of. They call, we go get them.
You go get them.
We'll go get them.
That's commitment.
That's a commitment
And
to
when
the
you
young
talk
people.
about support in a village aspect, I mean, you got counselors and you're allowing them to get driver's license, their education, tutoring,
For free.
for free, free 99.
Yes.
That's a beautiful concept.
Yes.
That is. Well, you know what? It has been a great teaching session here. I've learned a lot. I'm hoping that the folks who tune in on a weekly basis to this program have learned something about Job Corps that perhaps we didn't know. Seem like there's a lot of positive things that's going on at 6665 North 60th Street.
I've never looked at it in that light, and now you're making me
Look,
look
now
at
you
it.
stuck on 66.
We're gonna change that address. But we're glad that whatever it is that you all are doing over there, if you know folks are safe there and their graduation rates are high and they're completing program, you know, if they're doing that, it's working and it's commendable, and we as a community need to support you all in whatever way that we can. If Fresh Start Family Services can be of support to your program, please let us know. We would certainly love to work with some young people that's connected to that program. Again, if folks have additional questions after this interview and would like to reach out to Ms. Ford, you can give her a call at 414-616-5703. 616-5703. It's been a great day here on Fresh Start today. If you are interested in becoming a loving, concerning, nurturing, culturally responsive foster parent, please give us a call. Because remember, 68.2%, you'll hear it every week when you tune into this show, 68.2% of all the children in Milwaukee's local foster community are African American. And about 26% of those kids get sent out of county to live. You know what? We do have loving, caring folks who are qualified to care for black children in this community. And if you want to be one of those, please give us a call at 414-351-1100, extension 103. 414-351-1100, extension 103. Thank you for tuning in to Fresh Start Day. Be well, be safe. Until next week.